12-meter worlds are coming up here in a few weeks in Newport, Rhode Island. It's one of the big anticipated events of the summer. This is New York Yacht Club's 175th year, and some 20 boats, I think, are already registered, one of which is the 1983 Defender, called Defender, and it was a defense candidate sailed by Tommy Blackaller, the late great Tom Blackaller, who is actually driving up there on the windward side, the starboard side, in this beautiful photo by Dan Nerney. Defender was not successful in the Defender trials, but has been rehabbed by Newport, Rhode Island naval architect Jim Gretzky, and the boat is in fine condition, and it has been chartered for the Worlds by a couple friends of mine, friends of Sailing Illustrated, Dick Enerson of San Francisco, Richard Enerson, and Tom Webster of Hilton Head, North Carolina. And they have chartered the boat and are going to race it with a crew of amateurs in Newport here in a few weeks' time, but with a different twist. 21 entries from 6 countries, but Defender will be sailing actually for Warrior Sailing, a charity. And to tell us more about that is Aly Di Nas in Stamford, Connecticut. Aly, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So what's this tie-up between Defender, between Enerson and Webster and their team, and the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy's foundation, their program, Warrior Sailing?
Well, what we decided to do, or at least what Tom and Dick originally conceived to do, was to make a little bit more out of this Worlds campaign than simply sailing a boat in a race. And so what we are trying to do is raise money to support the Warrior Sailing Foundation. And we are trying to do that in conjunction with raising awareness about the program itself. And so we have started a social media campaign, and we've started a fundraising campaign, and we will be looking to raise money with the goal of helping to send the Warriors to sail in Newport for the Sail for Hope Regatta this fall.
How about if I play this Warriors video? We've got a Warrior Sailing video that I think will help explain that for everybody. And let's go to that now.
Okay.
Warrior Sailing is a program that teaches wounded veterans the sport of sailing and the skills of sailing. We're kind of the first step, getting people off the couch. Get here, make the commitment, come here and come sailing, and we'll teach you a new skill and something you can use the rest of your life.
I knew that my friend Brent was going to come out and I was going to get to teach him how to sail. It was just really amazing because, you know, for a blind guy to be able to teach another disabled veteran how to sail a boat is a great honor.
I'm sitting steering and looking up, I can see everyone's face. They were just smiling the whole time. You know, so if someone walks up and says, I can't get on the boat, or it's a little bit, they look up and they see Chuck out there, you know, that's inspiration. That's how those things graduate to those inspirational moments and those breakthrough moments of, I can do it.
I had a young Marine tell me one time, you don't have to wear a uniform to serve. And I think that if you take that to heart, you know, everybody can give back and do something for other people. This is just my small way of doing that.
Okay, Aly, it's pretty inspirational stuff. And you say Tommy Webster originally was involved with Warrior Sailing, I think, at Charleston Race Week. Isn't that the case?
Yeah, that's correct. So Warrior Sailing has made 4 appearances at Charleston Race Week so far. One of the boats that they sailed on was, I believe it was a 70-footer called Metolius. Really beautiful boat. Tom has been instrumental in helping get the Warriors there and make sure that everything is taken care of for them. I know that this is a cause that is near and dear to his heart. And for many of the reasons mentioned in the video, it really is a wonderful program. It helps when returning veterans come back to the United States. It helps for them to have social opportunities, to have opportunities to challenge themselves and acquire skills that are translatable into real life situations. And so it's definitely a very positive program. And so if there's any opportunity for us to be able to help these warriors get out on the water more often, it's certainly a positive.
Will there be any of the wounded warriors actually sailing on Defender during the 12-meter Worlds, do you know?
No, there will not be any Warriors on Defender. So we are solely a fundraising campaign. We are working to raise money in order to bring the Warriors to Newport for a future regatta, which will be the Sail for Hope regatta, which is occurring in the fall. During the time that we are doing the 12-meter Worlds regatta and fundraising with our campaign, the Warriors will actually be in Chicago, and they are racing the Chicago Mackinac race. And so I would encourage everybody to definitely tune into Warrior Sailing's social media pages as well, and definitely check out what they're doing, because they'll be taking on a pretty significant distance race. It should be really great to watch.
This is a good and growing program. I know Ralphie Steitz, who I did a couple America's Cup campaigns with way back, and he runs the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy Foundation. And this is actually a Warrior Sailing is a program of the USMMAF run by Ben Poucher, whom I've not met. We've traded some emails and texts, and I'm trying to get him to come live on the show at some point. But it's really, it involves more than just a handful of wounded warriors across the country, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So far there are 350 people who have graduated. In fact, upwards of 350 people who have graduated from the training camps. And the way that the program works is that these warriors begin by taking training camps where they learn the necessary skills and get used to the boats. And then from there, they are able to go and enter these races. And so there have been quite a few graduates already. And from those, there were 25 camps in total thus far that they've run. It's been a really extensive program. These camps happen all over the United States. And the graduates of the programs race in all different places, from Florida to Cuba, races to Mexico, Martha's Vineyard, as I had mentioned, Sail for Hope in Newport, Charleston. So it's really a nationwide program.
And you, like Tommy Webster and Dick Anderson, are volunteers, and everyone sailing on the boat in the 12-meter Worlds is a Corinthian. No one's being paid. And Tom and Dick are picking up really the expenses of the charter, as I understand it. And any money donated through this effort to Warrior Sailing goes directly to Warrior Sailing. And you, in fact, are a volunteer as well, doing their social media and PR, as I understand it.
Yeah, that's correct. So we are fully a volunteer Corinthian program, and any money that gets donated to the Defender efforts and fundraising will go directly to the Warrior program.
Well, now, Aly, that I've finally gotten you on the show, we've been trying for months to get you on, because you are a keen and I don't want to say up and coming, you're already quite a seriously good yacht racer. You started out in the middle of the boat. I think you and I raced one race together, a club race in Buffalo, New York one time. And the boat broke, if I remember well.
Yes,
We didn't even complete the race, but we had fun, and some good fun with some mutual friends. But we see you now on the bow of some boats. In fact, weren't you just on the bow on a photo? I should have grabbed that photo in a magazine or an ad promoting what? Block Island Race Week?
Yeah, Block Island Race Week. The official program for Block Island Race Week came out. And I suddenly received a message from one of my former crewmates saying, hey, look at what's on the cover. And sure enough, there was a big photo of J111 Partnership, which is now called Fireball. And I raced on it for the last Block Island Race Week doing the bow, and I will be doing the bow on that boat again for this coming Block Island Race Week.
And then more recently, you did mid-bow for Manoush Moshayedi's TP52 program in San Diego, I hear.
Yeah, that's correct. I went down to San Diego. We did Yachting Cup on Rio, and it was a pretty incredible experience. That crew is really pretty dialed in. It was pretty awesome.
Were you the only amateur on the boat, or were there some others?
No, there were some others as well. I believe the class rule requires a certain number of them, but yeah, no, there were others. And, both the pros and the amateurs are just operating at a level that's pretty top of the line.
Well, Manoush is a good friend as well, and a friend of Sailing Illustrated, and it was nice of him to take you on the boat as well. But you have a real job. You're not a professional sailor, as we've just mentioned. Tell us a little bit about your work for the Dominion, the Toronto Dominion Bank.
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm transactional counsel. I'm a lawyer, and so I do some compliance work, mostly transactional negotiation on the derivatives desk for a Canadian bank.
So I have one title here on the lower third showing you. This one says New York, and this one of you and me says Stamford. But you actually work in New York but live in Stamford, Connecticut, out on the Connecticut shore?
Yeah, I went out to the suburbs eventually. I used to live in Manhattan, and I've been slowly working my way further and further outside of the city. So I've now landed in Connecticut and Stamford at this point.
What was the reaction in your bank after the Raptors won the other night, winning the NBA, the first time a Canadian team, first time the Raptors, in their, 30-year history of their franchise, but also the first time a Canadian team has won the NBA Finals. That must have caused some fun in your Toronto Dominion Bank staff.
Yeah, definitely. We had a lot of sleepy people, but a lot of very excited people. I think everybody was really excited to see that happen, and everybody was following it very closely.
You're also doing some match racing now. I know from Don Riley that you're a regular at Oak Cliff at Oyster Bay, and you've been driving now in the match racing circuit at some of the match racing events. What's next for you on that?
Yeah, that's correct. So this is year 3 of driving. I started out on the bow, and so I am now looking forward to doing hopefully the Detroit Cup and the Oak Cliff International. I'm hoping for invitations to those. We have a grade 3 and a grade 4 coming up in August there at Oak Cliff, and hoping to also head back to Long Beach to do Butler Cup, hopefully Ficker Cup in the coming year. So we'll see how that all goes, but hopefully.
What one here is you've got an international ranking now in the top, 150?
Yeah, so the new rankings just came out, and we are ranked currently 139, which is really awesome. Super proud of my crew. They've been working really, really hard for that. So it's really cool to end up where we are right now.
Well, congrats on that, Aly. Is there possibly a Congressional Cup in your future, or maybe even the America's Cup?
I certainly hope so. It's certainly something that I'm working for. I'm hoping that at some point the World Match Tour materializes in its former, glory, and I can hopefully do that and
rematerializes.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, well, let's go back to the slides here. I've got a slide of Defender and also from the Warrior Sailing page. And as we said at the top of this segment, Defender, the 1983, I'm trying to remember who designed it. Was that a Pedrick design?
Yeah, it's a Pedrick design, yes.
Dave Pedrick designed it, and that boat will be racing in the 12-meter Worlds, sailed by Dick Anderson and Tommy Webster, and they will be sailing on behalf of the Warrior Sailing. It's really a charity. It's a 501c3, and they're hoping to raise awareness and money for Warrior Sailing, and you can donate by going to their website, warriorsailing.org/donate 12-M for 12-meter, and help them raise some money, not for the campaign. Again, none of this money that's donated will go to the campaign costs. Dick and Tommy have underwritten that completely between the two of them, and for their crew and everybody else. And Aly, you're doing this as well as a volunteer, and thanks for your nice efforts on behalf of Dick and Tom and Defender, but of course on behalf of Warrior Sailing. Anything to add?
Just would love to encourage everybody to please help us out. If you can, send a donation, any amount, large or small, certainly helps. We would be putting that money towards sending these warriors up to Newport, Rhode Island. And I think we've all sailed in Newport. For many of us, we've had that experience. We know what a significant thing it is to be in that city and racing there. So, please, if you can help out, we would really appreciate any donations.
Terrific, Aly. Many thanks. Much appreciated.
And thanks to you.
Stay in touch, and next time you're in San Francisco, let's get you live in studio here on the show.
That sounds like a great plan.
Okay. Take good care. Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That's Aly Di Nas via Skype from her home in Stamford, Connecticut. She works in New York City as a banker lawyer, as we told you. And once again, if you want to donate to warriorsailing.org/donate 12-M is the URL for their website. And we certainly encourage you to do it, and remind you that the 12-meter Worlds will be taking place in Newport the 8th through the 13th of July, coming up here in a few weeks, and it should be a fantastic event.